that, with pretty much a decent amount of this season. They've switched it up, and they didn't consistently find a home. But the big problem here is that they're going up against Stormy Ray and Kiriachi, and we saw what these guys did last endgame, right? And so these guys won't be happy to be contested this game. It's all about being able to win out that fight. Chapix and Seti just haven't been able to get it done so far today.
I'm not sure what it is, but I feel a little bit nostalgic in the way I'm watching Kiriachi make these bait ramps, going back and forth and making a huge tower at the middle of a POI that has metal and roofs around it. I'm looking at some Slurpy Swamp type gameplay from back in the day right now. The same type of fundamentals. Sometimes you watch, you know, those animes or the TV shows and you see a character do a move and it flashbacks to an older type move from generations ago, and it just feels like Kiriachi's in his element off spawn. I think he was waiting for someone to come through and contest him. They were always surprised in previous seasons, and they came up and above. He always finds height in these fights and then just claps down.
Is Kiriachi in his element, or Chapix and Seti just out of it? They can't win at Sleepy. They can't win here at Logjam. Where are they going to go next? Are they going to go Cova? Are they going to go all the way the other side of the map to Chonkers? Like, what are they going to do?
Hold up, I got you. I'm going to spin this wheel. Rocky Reels is actually where we're going to see Seti and Chapix next, according to the randomness, but we'll see exactly what they choose if they want to stay at the north side. We're looking at Fraction and Coop as well. A duo that fought hard and squalls all the way up to the semifinals to get towards this spot, and it was off of Fraction's crazy play. Talk about adaptiveness. They might not have the most of it. I think they have many different game plans to roll in with, but if they make it to these end games, Levin, they act like legends that we love to watch season after season.
Yeah, they got, you know, Coop and Frack. You know, in the community, they do get bantered quite a bit, like on everybody's predictions list. Yeah. I hate to mention it, but on everybody's prediction list, these guys get put at bottom. And like, it's become like a running joke now, right? That like Frack will just always get last. But I actually have faith in them not to get last today. So up the Coop, up the Frack. Good luck, lads.
Actually, Swilliam as well. On some of my predictions list, I always assume these fights always go absolutely atrocious and they end up near that last place spot. But once again, you know, they end up good off spot. Also, for that replay, I want to fact check if that's from finals or from Qual 1 or from Qual 2 or from the semis, because I feel like I've just watched those guys fight in that same way Swilliam goes through with a beam like every week.
We literally have seen that fight play out so many times. It's like I see it in my dreams at this point. Like I can't escape that fight no matter what, you know. And every session that we saw it as well, you think to yourself, okay, at least one of these teams is going to qual and the other won't, so we're never going to see this again. And then semis day one, okay, one of these teams will qual, the other won't, we'll never see this again. Finals day one, one of these teams, oh, we're here, finals. Yeah,
wait, it's finals.
It's finals, it's too late. We're just going to keep seeing this fight now for the rest of the season. Oh boy, Letchi, Swilliam, Floki, Clement. I can't bear to see it anymore, honestly. It's hard to watch at this point.
Listen, once they go Chonk, they never go back. All the way up to the top left, but they get to actually drive and ride. Kind of like in game 2, we'll see exactly if that will be very beneficial for them. Cammy Teak looks like when they don't have zone, this spot for them works a lot better. They catch teams on the rotation. If they get that middle towards tilted zone, that's where trouble happens. They don't have enough teams active around them moving around.
We'll see what they can do from this position, what they can find. You can see the trees on fire there. That isn't an accident, by the way. They want to clear as many trees as possible, make sure that their lines of sight are clear so that they have vision on these teams here right in the distance so they can take shots at. And they like to perch themselves up on this hill in case there's anybody lurking and tilted that they can get some shots on. So you'll constantly see Teak looking towards that side as well. But this is just very standard stuff. And this is part of why, you know, their early and mid game is so consistent, because they just have these protocols that they follow and continue to follow and that are effective, if anything, right? So hope to see these guys deeper into the game. Saw them last time. Cammy had to do a solo clutch. He wasn't quite able to pull it off. Or maybe this time he'll have his teammate by his side.
Got a little bit more placement though, so he made the best out of one of those situations. Meanwhile, Wallflower and Deox, you talk about protocols, you talk about, you know, a way of having a system to play the game. I feel like they're just having fun, right? Obviously have some good fundamentals and have a game plan moving forward. Every situation, they just seem like water. They can fit into any type of box fight. They can deal with any pressure, just morph into, you know, the things they need to, whether it's be a little more aggressive, disengage a bit more, and as Basecamp right now, they're in the top 10 sometimes. They have a lot of elims. That's what's pushing them forward.
Yeah. Speaking of having, I haven't seen with you, Shia.
Oh, same level, man.
This is the part where if there was a crowd, we go, "Oh, you guys having fun?" And then they all start screaming and chanting. But one day, we'll have one day.
Default and Link seem to have a crowd wherever they go. Third-party connoisseurs. For Stash. I got that happens to me too, you know. The amnesia, forgetting how to edit a square. All good, man. All good.
I promise you, this is one of the best mechanical players in the scene, right? Like, I promise, guys.
Okay, Malibuca taking a few shots. I think this is the issue. They need to land the first shot in a lot of these fights, or they just end up playing on the back foot way too much. I know where Stash can fill for the pressure that Malibuca won't have when he's healing, and I know they can do it vice versa. But I feel like they just don't hit hard enough inside these fights. It's against Tayson and Thomas as well, and you notice that they're a little bit overwhelmed. Third-party shots coming in, lots of damage. Have to use more shields than even if they were down bad on Surge. It's tough. You want to make sure you're making everything perfect in these moments because it is the finals. You can't really get away with getting shot by third party like that, with making too many mistakes.
Yeah, the problem with that Thomas and Tayson, they have so much materials. They can just sort of sit here and wait this out, right? And they've got the means to get out in case of an emergency as well with the pad.
Look at the third party.
Yeah, the third party coming in as well. So as long as they just hold it off, Masasha and Malibuca are going to have a whole different entity to deal with.
Basically called a summon in right now, and it's going to be in the form of Castry, Vortexia, HP bars. Going to be huge. Damage also going to be tough to deal with as soon as they rock into these builds, and Castry's waiting. Double spray. No need to pray. Castry's just there. They understand exactly what needs to be done. That's just get the Elim. I think it's Thomas and Tayson that just steal it though. So yeah, Castry, you keep the damage, we'll keep the loot.
I like that. That's a fair trade. I think I'd take that in these lobbies with how intense it gets. And Malibuca and Mustache being punished for that. Malibuca will just sort of sit there alone now. But this is exactly what we're talking about, right? The longer they sat there, the higher an opportunity for a team to roll through. I did see Pink and Nash sort of just drive by as well in the distance. Good thing they didn't get involved. That would have become a huge mess of some of our top teams.
Absolutely. And usually, Levin, the names on the script, right, when they're handed to me for the finals, they're blacked out, right? I have to assume I might just start to rub away that highlighter because, you know, Thomas Tayson, launch pads after launch pads, airdrops, and now in this game, free refresh while they're getting pressured by a third party. You know, I just feel like, hold up, wait a minute. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. It's all fine. I just feel like it's just good for them 24/7, and it only gets better. In this spot, they get lobby sprayed, and any other team, and they're just down. For them, they get to just move across a lake, swim, for almost absolutely free. I swear they use more than 100 mats, but the counter said they only use 100 brick. So here we are. The script speaks.
Yeah, and I think this is why everyone knew they were just going to be such a threat, because they haven't even really had like their pop game, right? They're still good for a win. Like at one point within the next couple games, right, even whether it be today or tomorrow, they are going to win a game, right? And so this is just what the advantage of Covert is, and it's the reason why, as much as, you know, they are so strong, I'll be so surprised if tomorrow there isn't a team that decides, let's just go Covert, right? There's so much loot there, let's try it. And that's where maybe they will start to run into some issues. But in the meantime, while they have it free,
listen, man, they've had some really good codes so far. Kane and Cruel, right? They've had Andretta and Flois that have taught them how to drop fast. I feel like through all the quals, like it's looked really good, and they beat every version of a team that's rolling into Covert.
Well,
it's Thomas, man. You said, I'm quoting you. He has the best flaw in the game. I can't do 11 accents, but you know what I'm saying? Like, like I'm trying to match the deepness and accent. It just does not work whatsoever. But you said he's literally the fastest glider. The desk has said it themselves. He has the perfect glide for Covert, and he has not been beaten, I think, in one game out of 6 in total.
Yeah, they got amazing drops, and it's the reason why if you do just decide to test them, it's never going to be easy, right? But we know the nature of contesting people squad in Fortnite is even when you have the best drops, there are times where maybe you just get funky RNG, you don't get quite the best loot, and off spawn someone pinches you, catches you out. That was a really huge shot. They take Vortexia down. That's going to help them stay afloat on Surge for now, as they have to try and move their way in, and they'll hit a couple more along the way.
Okay. So this is where we make it difficult for them. 2 max pull zones. Really really have to start to get going. They're down on Surge. They take out the people who came in to save them from a fight. That's kind of savage, not polite, but we don't need any of that here for Thomas and Tayson inside the finals. Pablo also struggling a little bit on the right side of the screen. We saw just moments ago Vidil be added to the X-Squeeze milkshake in terms of being put in a blender inside that box. Both him and Reason went down. Now Thomas, Tayson will have to start to swim. Pablo and Swag, there are 4 of the members on the map right now that are looking a little bit bad on Search.
That's going to be huge, right, in terms of Vidil and Reason going down, because we know what sort of power they hold in games. When they get deep in, when they start feeling it, it can take out anybody. And so Thomas and Tayson, who now look like they are in, like you said, a bit of a pickle.
A pickle? These guys are like in the whole rap, man. This is just tough. You know, toppings plus aside, this is a meal of a situation to get out of, not just one vegetable.
And there's not like an obvious team right by them that they can sort of push to deal with their surge, right? They're just gonna have to hope that people in the lobby do go down while they try to out-heal it. They're gonna use a pad to get themselves closer towards the zone now, but
one person.
Again, an opportunity to try and stay in this game. Like you said, just the one person. And this is gonna be Krusty on the right side of your screen. That is that one person. He is dealing with Surge all by his lonesome. It doesn't seem like there's an imminent threat towards him other than the server itself. So again, just staying at that 71. I'm sure the comms between Tayson and Thomas are, when will someone go down, please? Please, there is a knock in the feed.
It's all on Aqua. Aqua, stop this. Aqua, please.
Should he though?
With your financial assistance. Okay, it's Vino. Actually, no, it's Vino, please. One donation of elimination, please. My friend, there we go. Both
finally
actually go down and the lobby can just be fine.
Tayson and Thomas will live to see another day, or another zone, I should say, as they make their way into zone here on the edge. But look how much they've committed, right? So many of their materials going into making sure they have a safe path to zone, that they'll need to recoup somehow. This is how Vidil and Reason went down. Vidil just holding some builds, but running into the person who took Reason down, so they felt. We know they do well in the chaos, but in that situation, weren't quite able to hold on. And so they will be sent back to the lobby. And as you can see, 4th zone, not many teams in it, so this will be a very interesting rotation. You can see all those teams towards the north. They have to find their way to get in and try get in without any sort of issues either, which will be hard with the likes of Pink and Anas just sitting here in a perfect spot to just hold teams in. You can see it's a clear path between them and the teams that they need to stop. All they got to do, hit the shots. Last game, we saw them up on height. They didn't have much more Shio. This game, Anas is looking fine in that regard.
They'll get to dictate who comes out and in. My question is, are we watching, you know, birds flying in the sky, or like a colony of different, you know, ants just pushing through the ground with builds, snapping, biting at each other with, what's that? Mandibles or mandibles? Yeah, that's the word. Okay. Teak, they'll kind of be in the underground stand situation. They're very close to the zone with a few teammates in their way. Some barricades to kind of move around and out from. Lizen always feels like he's getting picked apart in this situation. And Benji as well. Okay, I thought Savage down and out. Usually that is the case. 2 armored walls put down. It's a big investment, but they still have 2 more and a pad. Did they land that covert themselves as well? Not sure where this loot's coming from, but they're making it spawn in.
It looks like it. You can see they are just trying to hold that team. They wanted to hold that team, but that team padded above, and so now they can just run in. They've obviously got the pepper as well, which makes it a bit speedier. But they've also got to be careful, right? Because there will be teams that start looking in this direction and they don't want to take any unnecessary damage. They're not thriving in the shield department. They could easily be down in that regard. And so finally getting their way in, nicely done.
95 below, they got some more work to do, and Thomas HD and Tayson have to basically do 2 whole jobs full time to get back into this game. 175 damage below. Really need a close range engagement. That's exactly what Thomas finds. The second shot not gonna land. 189 down now. That's not gonna be enough to really push them back up. Yeah, just chop that value in half. 59 though. 11 people need to go down, so they'll be in this situation for a while. Thomas is finding these shots with such ease. This is crazy. He still has another edit to get. They were in trouble before, but they have a duo to bully now with Squeezy and Hen. to get pushed back into the builds. 72 damage above now. They're looking good. Hen is not going to go out without really a fighter at a negative either. He gets 2 eliminations on Mustache and Malabuka for the damage that he took from Thomas. We'll see 2. Mr. Savage on the right side finds eliminations as well. 4 total moving into this zone with Benji. And they have height. And if I see the mini map, trying to see if they're maybe near the south side. Yeah, it looks like they have a little bit of a chance to control the entire portion of zone. Move in to a different box. You're seeing if there's anything in here. Is this where they eliminated someone else? Or maybe there's a pad to use. Yeah, they do have a little bit of free loot to gain, and that's a big refresh of materials. Huge for Benji and Savage. Levin says it himself. If they get refreshed at this point, that is one of the, ingredients for a win overall in the finals for this team.
Yeah, they definitely are setting up to potentially do that now. And I was going to say, Thomas and Tayson needed a favorable zone. And it did seem that they did somewhat get that. Is it going to be an easier of a path to get there as I thought? In the meantime, it does look like it. Just a bit of wood having to be spent.
Look at it. This is so tough. Tayson is at a sliver of HP. If he's just touched, he'll go down. And that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, that was rough. As much HP rotating in any zone, you're always going to have some sort of an issue. And so now Thomas with 12 builds, look, he's a clutch master. I've seen him do some incredible things on his own against not even just duos, trios even. But this would be a mountain and a half to climb. We'll see if First Moving can be on his side to some regard and maybe allow him to stay in the game a bit longer, get his team some extra points, keep them in a higher position on the leaderboard. But if zone doesn't favor him, it's going to get real rough for Thomas.
This is the one man who I can believe can make the clutch inside of you. We'll see what happens. Wildfire and Deox on the right side. Similar point threshold to Thomas HD on the left. They are both alive and both at the best spot for the zone. It's going to move right next to them. I think they're one of the closest duos so far for the zone right now. And they're also basically almost in the lead. 45 players to watch as the 6th zone just pulls towards the right. Majority of the lobby, Thomas will have to make that far rotation. Deox and Wildfire can just block on this low ground as much as possible. Look at high ground though. I'm liking that 2-side split. Benji and Savage have control right now. Will they have hands in winning this game for EU?
You can see Kiriachi, Stormy right. They want to have their hand. They want to go again. We saw what they did last game round. But can they replicate that or even further this time? They want to jump in a box to try and get themselves a refresh. They got to be careful. They are down on Surge, and it is so difficult to deal with it during the moving zones. But for the meantime, they're going to have to try tank some zones to get some Surge. They don't want to go for height, I promise you that. That's going to be a messy situation, and they won't. But you can see Mr. Savage on NG in the bottom left of your screen. They're the ones that hold it. And this is where all the fans will be happy to see them in a position where they can really do some damage now.
They're playing a normal game of Fortnite. Meanwhile, on the bottom right, we have this, I don't know, Fortnite racers going on. The awesome Wildfire are in a car pushing through every possible build from mid-ground all the way to low. They're finally getting beamed, and the car might start to explode. Maybe having a little bit too much fun, but they save so much, rightfully so. Deox barely has any mats available to be able to move in this situation. They're really beaming. Now somewhere inside their box, I think it's just Mappy that comes racing in with PKR and take him out.
Yeah, you talked about how that team has endless amounts of fun. Where did that fun get them? Right back to the lobby. Stormy right and Kiriachi though, they're sitting nice there. You get dropped down, but that's still okay. You see how they have control. They're at the front of the zone. They just need to make sure they block off the back and look for eliminations below and above them. Mr. Savage though and Benji sitting with 5 eliminations up on height. They need to make sure they watch out for second height. Watch out for anybody lurking, trying to steal it away from them. But they're doing a good job of controlling the lobby. Nobody can look to take it. These guys have the control, but for how much longer can they continue to condition the lobby to stay down? Andy on our screens now, he's got to be careful. Low HP, trying to stay him down, but he's got a tree in his face and a teammate goes down as well, and he will shortly follow. He goes down to Anderlex, but still, Benji, Savage, up above. Can they close this out?
You're actually Stormy right down below. We'll just have height just dropping pressure. We see every game and no one challenging them at all. So the question is, who can survive on low? It's Vino who gets a few bops. Joe gets traded out by Toos on that side. Once again, no one is looking up above. But from Orion, focus on the boxes right below them. Kiriachi focus on the ramp. there in front, and he's gonna get absolutely pushed back inside many different boxes, shot from all sides, but somehow he's alive. Kiriachi finally down, and now we tune in and see which duels are still alive. Hydro and Belusi down on low. Shmeki has a solo right beside him. Savage and Benji all the way up on height, battling on a lot of boxes, but tough builds. They can't really have any type of jackhammer situation to get through that brick. Savage, though, is watching, patiently waiting to see who is actually coming up for height. Rifle and Marine might have shown their hands a little bit too fast. Clown gets harpooned. This man is looking like a fish, a flopper, but he's still finding some air to be able to move and breathe inside the backside of this zone. His mats are down now, so it's time to just go for that freestyle swim straight into the box. Belusi's gonna stop him on the right side. He takes a little bit more zone damage. This is tough with 7 teams alive. You really want to make sure you survive and get that placement. Rawls is looking for the pressure, the damage, and he finds it. Both these teammates going hand in hand. They're first place right now for this lobby, really taking everything by storm.
Yeah, you saw there, Benji and Savage now gonna have to start making their way down. They still got enough builds to hold out, and nobody really looking to contest them. Clown, though, sitting nice on low ground. He went from looking like a free big pot to gaining one himself. He has enough HP along with his teammate Grohl to survive here on the low, but they just need to find and siphon out anybody else who might steal that control away from them. There's a solo on the backside, and they just got to be aware. They got to look out for it, otherwise things can get real bad real quick.
Yeah, they're down there in the dark. It's very hard to be aware that Swilliam and Marine up top fighting each other. You do see Marine end up getting victorious in that one, but he might just get traded to Toos right here, and Putrix right beside him too. So one of these duos who are so good at playing with each other, especially in these box-to-box situations. They set up a trap for Marine, and he springs it. That's what you love to see. Flopper's given to Putrix as well. That's going to be huge. 4 swings as well. So what will his destiny be? Will he go for that clutch shot towards the top, or will he try to survive inside the box? It's not going to matter, because if he gets sprayed down, he can't make a choice, but he chooses to live. Putrix somehow alive. Savage rolling high, taking both out. Benji and Savage take matters into their own hands. They're tired of just waiting on the high ground. They're here. They have a voice, but it's going to be up against the first place team. This is 6th versus 5th, and somehow Benji gets that armored wall. Look at the protection up top. These are the real kings of EU, and they are here to say it's our time again. 97 points, another armored floor. It's impossible to spray. Benji and Savage just have everything right now, including the refresh. How stylish is this one going to be, boys? Let's see it happen. Benji and Savage dropping down left, right. It's looking like it's their night. This is good. Shoot the toes. It doesn't matter. That's a win. A victory royale for game 4, and a shout into the skies that we are here.
For the fanboys around the world, including myself, Benji and Savage do it. We knew they'd do it at some point, but game 4 is the time. And what a way to do it as well. You saw as well, Shai, the protection. There was no hope for anybody, right, to stop them. You saw teams peeking up at high, but they were never in for contention to take it. These guys held it down strong, and they get the victory out as the reward. What a game 4 from Savage and Benji. Finally pushing themselves higher up in the standings there.
And higher up in the sky, no one wanted to attack them at all. They were so good at denying so many different retakes and saving, what, 7 armored walls for the final 2-2? Haven't seen that really on any region, but I've seen so far. But I want to see exactly what the desk wants to say about that one, because that's a very unique end.
Yes. Yes, my boy. Benji Savage, yes. I will be your biggest fan until the day I'm eliminated. Let's go, boys. We're now in game number 4, and with 9 eliminations. Listen, what else can we say here, Reese? I mean, these guys broke it down, hanging on to the armored walls there. I mean, I feel like that takes so much confidence.
Yeah.
Right? The armored walls can be so pivotal in these moments where you're like, I feel like my duo is getting pressured and I can't react. I'm just gonna put a wall in your face and there's nothing you can do. And for these guys to walk in endgame and have so many, that means they never felt that pressure.
Yeah, I mean, this was really into the zone yet again, right? A very close by zone near Tilted, but it is always a good time when we see Benji and Savage succeeding in a finals. You know, these guys, always the fan favorites, and they did so well this game. And I think it was kind of unlocked by sort of what happened early on in this game. They are contested by DKS and Bad Cypher, right? And in the first game, DKS and Bad Cypher, they didn't fight them. Now, in the last 2 to 3 games, they've been fighting them every single time, and this just unlocks the potential for you to do more, right? You're able to farm more, you have to set up better positioning because you don't have to worry about surge. So, you know, this was definitely opened up by DKS and Bad Sniper to help them up in this game.
Absolutely, and it's like an uncharacteristic win. I don't mean that because they won the game, just because they did it from height. Like, these guys are nearly always you'd classify them as like a low ground or mid ground team. Like, because they got set up so well in the 5th zone, they got cap mats, they're on height already because of their good positioning earlier on. It's like it's clean sailing from then on. They're still able to frag out, they're still able to do everything they are. And that final situation, firstly, more armored walls and builds is always hilarious. But on top of that, you've got to think it's like the veterans, the long-standing players, Benji and Savage going up against Grolls and Clown, who obviously popped off massively there too. And it's like exactly shows why experience is important, because they didn't crack under pressure, whereas you saw kind of Grolls and Clown shaking down below. They're going through water, they go down to zone damage at the same time, and it's just very symbiotic. But it does seem like Grolls and Clown are obviously doing very well as well.
Dude, I can't even imagine, right? In that moment, you're like, look, they're up top. What can we do? And then an armored wall goes down. And you're just like, oh, man, there's nothing we can do. Yeah, I know. So crazy. Let's take a look at the standings and see how things are going. First place, second place, going head-to-head in that last game right there. Wow. But take a look. Even after that, even after the victory royale, Grolls and Clown are still up in the lead. But again, the margins are still pretty fine, right? You've got Diox not that far behind. Benji, Fishy, Savage jumping up now thanks to the victory royale. But look right below, Pink and Anas tied up for points. The difference is they've made up via eliminations. I mean, boys, and then Tayson Thomas HD, Boop, there's still so much going on.
Yeah,
right?
There's so much potential. The top 5 is just split by 12 points in total. And I like that Reese mentioned some of the inexperienced teams. You know, Diox and Waffler, we don't see them too often. Diox in trios had a very good running with a Spanish trio, but you know, with the type of zones that we had today, it's been hard for them to be consistent, but they've done super well. So go to the second page here.
Well, indeed. Actually, one of the things I want to say is Diox is like the most consistent controller EU player so far. Last season, 10th when it came to Season 8, and then 7th when it came to Grand Royale. Now popping off here as well. If we're looking over the second page, like we said, Vortex and Janus starting to drop down a little bit now. You know, the game's not going as so well for them. And this could look like a first page. Like, read the names that you have on here. Vortex, Janus, and like X-Squeeze, Cammy, Teak. You've got Pablo and Swag, who popped off during the qualifiers. Vadil Reason, Hen, Queasy, like a lot. And obviously, Mustache and Malbukatu, a lot of the teams that we would have predicted to be in the top 10 currently on day number 1 are kind of starting to drop down towards 11th to 20th. But like we just saw from that victory all from Benji and Savage, that's a 59-point game for them. So that's actually almost, well, it's more than 50% of the points they've had. So for any of the teams that you're seeing there down in the 11th till 20th, it's like they're absolutely still in the running. But the longer these tournaments go on into tomorrow, it can be a little bit worse, less chance of them catching up.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the format, right? And then you shouldn't give up. You know, we saw some tweets coming out of Chapix, you know, it's over. You know, he meant to overfund that South Sleep, also with Logjam contesting Kyoichi and Stormy, right? But you still have so many games left. This is only game number 5 that we're about to go into. There's so much potential. You can still win an FNCS, even if you do get eliminated early on here, as we see. You know, you should never give up. Everyone has a chance, and, you know, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, this is their off spawn. They switched to Logjam at this point. Obviously, it didn't work out for them. We have seen now Kyoichi and Stormy, right, move up to 5th. Because of that, they've capitalized on a bunch of the elims off spawn, tons of Storm Surge, tons of points.
Yeah, and remember, it's okay for the players to get a little frustrated, right? We have that bird's eye view. We can see everything that's happening, but for them, they can only see so much at a time, right? But that's it for now. We got more games, more action. Shy Wager, Levin, over to you.
Boys, I'll be real. I had my list of favorites. I might as well chuck it away, man. I'm seeing teams, you know, who have no experience in FNCS, right? Clown, no, never played in an FNCS final, sitting up in first going into game 5. That's huge, right? For his confidence as well. But look, I'll be real. Some of the teams we expected to do really well, sitting on the latter pages of the leaderboard, that's not what I was expecting, Shy. I'll be real.
I think the stage has kind of changed to duos, right? And all these big egos are fighting each other in the same spots. You have Deox, you have Clown who are rolling in, playing their own game, their own version of Fortnite away from the rest. And that's why maybe they're at the lead and now everyone else has to catch up.
Yeah, and big up Diox as well, right? Repping for all the boys. Look, I'll be real. In terms of controller plays, you never expect to see them this high up unless you're on another region, 9 East or another one, you know. We don't talk about them regions, but you never really see it. Nevertheless, we'll see if he can hold on to his hype showing into game 5. Let's go.
All right, game 5. 2 more chances today to solidify your spots on the board, and then day 2 is when you start to push towards higher heights, towards that win, towards the prize money. This will all matter, though. It might not seem like that to some teams. You have to make sure your mental's locked in, and right now Savage and Benji they're switching up their strats and tilted as well. Yeah, that last game went great, but they really want to make sure they're making everyone around them on their toes at all times.
Will this be Benji's first chance to win FNCS? Can he finally get the victory royale across the 2 days? Will it be, Shay? I want to hear from you.
You see, every time we start to ask that question, that's when I wish no one asked it, because every time we do, it's none of it. I mean, across podcasts, across interviews, everything. As soon as the just come in, I feel like I don't know what the universe does. They make it hard for us to really want to win, get that dub. But Vino and Joe, I feel like this might have been the FNCS for them, right? In terms of style, the way they got to this position, the way I feel like they were innovating, how you really protect and play endgame. It's good so far. I just don't think they've been there in terms of today in any of those endgames.
Yeah, it's weird. They obviously dipped and decided to come sleepy after landing Covert the whole season. And I think many people thought it would be a bad decision. Like, of course, Chapix and Seti haven't been amazing at Sleepy, but you would have still expected them to dominate. And it just hasn't quite worked out that way for Chapix and Seti. And Vino and Joe have done really well landing here, but it just hasn't really materialized into the pop-off games we want from them. They're still sitting nice on the leaderboards, but they've got to be careful, right? Of course, Joe's gone down, and so Vino will be left alone. But yeah, I still want to see a big pop-off from them. 6th ain't too bad, but I'm sure under the circumstances, they themselves will feel like they should be doing a lot better as well.
Yeah. And that's really all I wanted to touch on, is the fact that they're still 6th with like the troubles we see them having. So when it comes to like that 12-game format, maybe that's why they're not on pop-off mode right now. They just want to put themselves in a very good spot in day number 1. Stay consistent, maybe even make the same mistakes, and on day 2, start to go for those all-ins. It's very, very, I think, more comfortable on your brain overall to push forward and take more risks on day 2 than to try to catch up to the rest of the lobby. You've seen historically, any team that's very far behind on day 2, as soon as they start to, have a little bit of issues, that's where things go bad. And Chapix and Seti right now go down to Vino with the bait. That's what you love to see if you're a fan of this side.
Chapix, he kept building higher and higher, right? He wanted to get the angle so he could see Vino rebooting. But, at some point when you build that high, if you get shot down, there's nowhere to go. And so like you said, Vino realizing that Chapix was about to get the angle and he just shot him out, and Chapix will fall and has no support. I actually do think Hen from behind as well came in with a couple shots of support as well. So it wasn't just Vino dealing with that. He had the help of Hen and Queasy inadvertently in the back. But Chapix and Seti, man, it's really rough to see them like this. They're such good players, but it just hasn't been working out today.
They're like a pinball that wants to go in the gutter of the machine. But you have Vino and Joe on one side as a bumper, and then Kriachi and Stormray on the other. No matter where they're going, they're just getting flipped over and over again. There's nothing for these guys to do.
Yeah, and again, right, obviously they went Logjam last game, they came back to Sleepy this game. Will they go back to Logjam next game? Will they just keep on coming to Sleepy and getting eliminated off spawn? Like, I don't even know.
Pinball duel, man, it's tough. They're just getting upkept. No one is letting them in towards that top 10 circle at all. Vortexia Castry also switching things up entirely, it feels like. Correct me if I'm wrong, but diving in a Covert Cavern game 5, they're looking for the Bane.
And look, we said that it was going to start to happen. Will these guys be the ones to punish Leeson and Thomas and stop what's been a dominating run here at Covert, where they've just been able to land, get everything, loot up, have all the pads in the land, all the rotation, all the movement, all the loot?
I think Tayson, they're exactly where they want to be just today overall, right? Maybe the situation looks a little bit more dire, but I think Tayson's heard the footsteps up above, and now they're going to full defense mode. They just want a respectable day 1. I feel like this duo is a day 2 duo entirely. They just want to be on the map inside the top 10. Luckily now they're closer to even top 5. Just have a good overall 6 games, and then day 2, that's where really the big things get started. That's where they really have to start playing defense.
Yeah, and they're looking even here, right? In terms of what they've been able to do in this game. Of course, plenty of ammo to boot. And so if a fight does break out, I would expect these guys to be on top.
There's one thing I'm noticing overall as well for like this 2-day format. You asked me right when we caught from the desk, Clown, Deox, how are these guys here? What are all these big teams doing? It might be like all the big teams and a majority of EU is just playing their game plan right now on day one. And as a result, Clown, Deox, Wildfire, they're just going to play. I think on day two, when people start to get desperate, pushing more boxes for Surge, you know, doing crazy things inside the end game, starting to take up some of the blank spots that these guys are living in now. I think day two is going to be so different for Clown, for Deox, for some of these new names coming in. They might not be experienced FNCS overall. I think they barely have any experience to a two-day format in the finals.
Yeah, and speaking of a team that will be wanting to make some changes, you know, Riley and Aqua sitting in 21st. They've been landing at the Bugle, going up against Stompy and Ju. We've not really seen any fights break out there, which is a change, right?
Yeah.
You didn't watch some of the qualifiers in the season. You know, Riley and Aqua constantly fighting at the Bugle against so many different teams, but this time not having to. Benji and Savage, they've left Tilted, they've gone up north. And they ran into Shmeki.
I think for Noah Aqua, day two team, you know, 70 points is what I'm looking for, day one maybe. And they'll start to pop off once they really figure out the difference of their POI and how these end games are looking, right? It's Mr. Hyde himself. I think he's just trying to fill up games, get that Aqua VOD review in to see exactly, you know, where the gaps are in the gameplay. And day two will look really good.
Yeah, I think the big for that team is just the nature of how they play means that, again, they're one of those teams where you'd probably say they're good for one win at some point,
yeah.
Right? Like, they're good to win a game. It's the reason why, even though I wasn't so high on them going into the semis, just because of that format, I knew, look, give these guys enough games, they're just going to win one, right? Regardless of whether you think they're the worst trio in the world, worst duo, sorry, or best duo, they're going to eventually win a game.
For Sash Malabuka, one of those duos that, you know, you're not going to be locked into. These guys are good for one game. They're one of those ones that are consistent overall and staying inside that top 5, that top 10.
I think the big thing, especially, you know, you look back at their history in previous seasons and previous modes, there's always one of, look, they're contested, but they're still doing quite decently. Imagine if these guys weren't contested, right? How good they would do. And of course, it's a, you know, new map, new mode, but this is our chance to see what they can do out of a decent spot uncontested. And they impressed for the most part earlier on in the season. But still in the finals, something left to be seen.
I mean, they still are slightly contested today. The first fights that we watched, you know, for the first 2 games at least, were Sash Malabuka, you know, getting sandwiched left and right by Gabex. But overall, they did kind of circumvent that completely. I feel like they're used to just fully being contested now season after season. At least they don't have to deal with Benji Savage overall, right? Or Savage in particular. Coming down and just making sure that it's just fully tough for him season after season.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't want to go back to those days. It's good to see those guys more friendly with each other now as well on social media, etc. You know, the off-spawn beef, it is just off-spawn beef, you know. Keep it in game, keep it in the lobby.
So you ever thought you'd miss the Steamy Stacks off-spawn beef or we'd ever be moving past it, you know? I never thought. Who could imagine?
Honestly, I low-key miss it, bro. Like, you know, it was fun. You know, it's the good old days. You never know it's the good old days until, like, you know?
Yeah. Oh, it's facts. I'm just so curious about Deox Offline right now. It just literally, I see them and I want to smile every time. They just look like they're happy. They're doing crazy things. Shooting at cars left and right. It's hot for anyone who's in, you know, any of these wheels moving around right now.
To a certain point that you want to actually do some damage to the person driving that vehicle. Not able to, but look, sitting in second, they've done a great job. Third place team, Stormy Right and Kiriachi over towards Log Jam. They're looking all right. Some decent shields. The materials are all right. They've committed a bit to get to the position they're in now, but that's fine. It's all about continuing the pace they've been on. Another team where they probably would have felt at the start of the day, hey, wow, people talking about us in contention for doing well and for winning. You know, we have experience in MCS. Kiriachi will be saying, people, look, I've won an FMCS. You guys should put some respect to my name. And sitting in third, you know, in game 5 is all good, but they're gonna have to hold on and push even further in the next couple.
I'm always like confused as to how they end up winning games completely too, right? It seems like they have such a, I don't even know, mysterious type of game style. Kiriachi Stormy Right. They just end up doing the right things, but they're never foreshadowing they're gonna do it seems like they're in a bad spot. I blink, suddenly it's like the best spot in the game. One duo I always will have trouble in terms of understanding completely, but there's so much fun to watch play together. Just also, I think the biggest thing about them, do on the top of your screen right now, Stormy right, Curiosity, is the fact they do everything together, but that's even making the mistake and going down. You saw last game down on Surge, they were immediately milliseconds away from each other at bullying a wall, trying to get in immediately. Always just all inning together and making sure every angle is taken from two POVs at the same time.
I feel like one of the big things that what makes them so successful at Shio is just the fact that they're one of those teams where they're just hungrier than everyone else, right? They want it more. Right? In these endgame scenarios where there's chaos all around, there's solos, you know, sort of trying to dance their way around the lobby, see if they can hide out. These guys just sniff them out and deal with them appropriately. And they do that so well on a consistent basis. In the bottom left, they're doing a reason. Don't necessarily do it on a consistent basis, but when they do it well. I can promise you that, right? They have started to fall in the standings a bit, but they are literally always one game away from being in the top 5. Just always one game away.
Do you want to have a deal reason seesaw? This is what it is. The higher they are in standings, right? On one side on standings, the lower they are on Surge. Like literally Surge problems 24/7. As they drop on the standings, their Surge becomes a lot better. They're chilling 300 above. So I feel like they have these little pockets where they're always at the back. They only really operate well on the comeback aspect of the tournament over and over again. Does that mean the later games end up playing well? I think absolutely, as long as they're all connected to the game. You know, some seasons that might not happen. But in this one right now, in this game, 300 above Surge are looking good overall. We'll do it with some other teams to see how they're doing. Stompy, Ju, right now also moving in. 118 below, they really have to just collapse on this wall, but it's inside the storm still. They're really looking to push and force this fight. Meanwhile, Thomas HG and Tayson, they get interrupted, low on Surge as well. Have to find a little bit of reprieve inside the logjam. But who knows what's going on the other sides of the walls inside the factory. If people are also looking to cook up and build a little bit of Surge for themselves, Tayson will start to move and have so much splashes to work with as well, and Caspery are right above him again.
How many teams are locked here, Shio? Look how many teams are just in this general vicinity. This is insane.
It's like I'm watching one of those survival games where you have to stay out of the cold and go inside. Everyone's forced into all these boxes. It's a complete creative island, it looks like right now. And Thomas is trapped inside on the left side. He has to go back towards Tayson. It's looking good for now, but Surge is striking left and right. I hear SMGs and shotguns in every single box. It is Thomas HD that finds a miraculous shot, but he takes damage himself. Benji is also here, and he's below. The entire top side of the leaderboard is inside Log Jam and Lumberyard, and it looks like a bunch of them are ready to get chopped.
Yeah, Tayson, he's lost Thomas, and so he has to do this all alone now, but it is so difficult. Savage is almost very close to losing Benji as well, and if he's not careful, he'll get taken out himself. Needs to find separation, but can't get knocked. And Benji will actually be able to pick him up and get him out of dodge.
Tayson is one of the Savage.
Oh, no, yeah.
I think it's Benji as well. That is just tough. First place team, that previous game now going down. Tayson is going to be the one to wear that crown for this game. But once again, a solo.
But he is a solo with 4 launch pads, right?
True.
4 launch pads, max materials, all the ammo that he could possibly ever want.
What's the conversion rate for that? From solo to duos? 4 launches on a solo? Is that 1 duo's worth of an individual?
That's like, that could be like 3 duos worth of an individual, right? And even when you're looking at it from that perspective as well, in terms of the conversion rate of how successful are you with that kind of loot, for the average team, you know, maybe you can have a decent game. But this isn't the average team. This isn't the average player. This is Tayson we're talking about here. So we'll see.
You know what that was? I understand what they were building at Logjam Lumberyard. They tossed in a bunch of people and made like the ultimate player that came out. Full builds, full shields, max loot, and 4 pads. It is a solo though, right? But that's our champion just leaving the hyperbolic time chamber.
And then Tayson took them out.
True.
And now Tayson's going
Now he has the power, and Lies and took him out as well. So never mind. 4 pads and you go down. I don't know how that is, because I assume he has to be up on Surge. He just fought like 6 teams.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice for Lizen.
Okay, so we'll have a perspective to see exactly how this happens in just a second. I'm very curious about this one. Link moving in from the zone. This is just I guess, you know, preliminary coming into Lumberyard. Some people were not tall enough to ride the ride. They weren't strong enough to enter the arena. But Tayson, he was there building up, but he wasn't sure about what's going on around him. Unfortunately, right next to a team, a lot of people love to build up there to be safe, right? But if that team was going down Levin, it's an easy pick.
Yeah, he got caught in the cyclone and they took him for a spin. And he just couldn't. He could not hack it whatsoever. So he went down. And that's better than finding an llama if you're Lyzen, right? In terms of the amount of loot, the launch pads, the ammo. That is best case scenario for you.
That's a conversation that Lyzen's probably having with us right now, right? They're in 48th place. And they're probably sitting in their box. Man, we need like what? What if we had like 4 launch pads this game? And, you know, a siphon right now. Maybe we could click on the boards. Q in, Tayson just drops by. Funky music playing the whole time. They take him out. See 4 pads. If there's a comeback potential for anyone right now, it has to be Lyzen and Mirza. They have 4 launch pads overall. Pay attention to who's based up around them too, because they'll have free rotates the entire game. And Awesome Pink too, 108 points on the opposite side of the spectrum in terms of being towards the top. 4th place overall. We'll see what they can do.
And in this game already, 4 of the top 7 teams have gone down, right? And so this is a chance for Pink and Anas to really try and solidify some sort of a lead, rise themselves in the standings. And it's the same situation for Waffle. The only difference is he's sitting in a way less position than him. He's just nothing but a solo in a duos world. And his pathway to getting any sort of significant points in this one looks mighty tough. He drops down now. And it's great because he drops down out of trouble, but he's just in an even worse situation. And you see his HP gets absolutely drilled down. And he knows who it is that's dealing damage to him, but he can't really retaliate. He will eventually go down. And so another one of the top 7 teams taken out. Pink, though, isn't too far from being taken out himself.
Swag Pablo at 13th. They're also looking kind of tough. So everyone in the top 10 and below are having problems. Imagine how down bad you have to be as Swag and Pablo to pickaxe an armored wall to find an angle. They will be here for days. Finally get it done, and they run into another one. So that's going to be completely tough. Anas, I think he understands exactly on the left side of your screen who he's actually trying to bully for the moment. There's a treasure chest down there of 4 launch pads. And this is a high ground duo that's operating right now, an Awesome Pink. If they find that chest, if they find that player elimination, it'll be huge. But it's towards the backside of the zone. I'm not sure they'll be able to even get up. 117 damage below, and Awesome Pink are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, this is really rough. They don't have that same fortune in terms of loot. And in terms of Surge, they really are struggling at this point. Pablo, though, went from sitting in a nice position with his teammate by his side to being back against the wall, against the whole lobby, and eventually back to the lobby. And so Anas now, with Pink, realizes that the launch pad's there. They'll try to get some shots off to help them with Surge before they take it themselves. But when they land, they really need to deal some damage because they're really low. And you can see Anas' desperation dropping down. He just wants to get into a box and do anything he can. And he actually did well to do a bit of damage there, but it just wasn't enough. There wasn't anything he could really do in that situation as a solo. And again, right, the chain continues. Speaking of solo, Stormy right now operating with Valkyrie actually in this one. Second place team. One of the top teams in this game, Shav, they've just been all scuffed.
Hey, welcome to the EU Cast 11. Every game 5, I feel like, of every FNCS, it's the comeback game. It's the game, you know, it might be even game 4, where all the top 10 teams just get taken out and then everyone else can rise. Lyzen too, I think it was foreshadowed with him and his team at 48th getting all the pads. We saw Badil in a situation to come back and try to clap. Cammy and Teak will be there at 9th, and Bino Joe 7th. The fact of other teams that are finally full duos, ready to maybe up in those rankings. It'll make everything that much closer, give us that waterfall effect of just 1 point separating every team on the leaderboard.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about, right? The potential now for comeback for some of these lower teams, even a team like Joe and Vino. We talked about how they just haven't had that pop-off game we've been expecting them to have. They're still doing well in the standing. 7th place ain't too shabby. But can this be the game where they capitalize with all of their top competition being in sight? Can this be the one? They've got the peppers to make rotation just that bit easier, and maybe they'll be able to sneak away a pad from somewhere as well.
The comeback We dive into Vino's brain. Joe following him as they end up just going through the labyrinth of those down below. It's all hard mats though, because it's that half and half zone, and as they have to worry about position, getting towards the other side of the map entirely, they also have to deal half an HP damage on any individual around them. So maybe that's what they're kind of sneaking around and sniffing out.
It's fine though, right? Using these old builds means that they can save their materials, right? They have enough builds, but not of massive wealth, and so going through these old builds allows them to save and make a play for later, but they run into another team, so they gotta be careful, and this is the time to get out. These there's Vino, you need to out, and he will. This is where Joe and Vino can really start to make a move in this slot, going up the hill, and they need to really be proactive about that in case it pulls in the wrong direction.
The theme of the last 3 games, though, might just be tilted tower teams entirely. Bad Sniper and DKS fly the high ground and take it away from Mappy and PKR. Crush Siege right below, and Queasy also still alive, so a bunch of the names you've seen suppressed in this lobby who've had it tough for the top 10, just bullying them game after game, get to play this one out. Lizen uses what, his 3rd, 5th, 7th, 19th launch pad to keep moving. Vino now down to low HP as Teak and Cammy are also struggling inside the box. Nice swing from Teak to get a little bit ahead of the zone, and he crashes in the no all the way down to low ground, his home. He's here finally in that living room to make those tarps. Cammy will join him momentarily, and they'll play their game. Nice beams on the right side. They are in their natural habitat.
This is their home, but there are some intruders, and so they got to deal with them swiftly. You can see Cammy looking to take the lead, making sure they stay ahead and still retain control at home, like you said. But up above, DKS and Bad Sniper, this is the time for them to really rein in on the lobby. You can still see as well, Cammy looking to try and make sure nobody can impede on his ground. Players on the low ground as well, that's going to be an opportunity to find some eliminations, but they just have to keep on moving into that zone.
On the high ground, that's the shop Squeezy, and then in half, Hen is now down. It's up to Queasy trying to go for that solo situation. Genesis and Vortex, though, this is what they thrive in, situations where they're both alive and everyone else is making a lot of noise. They're barely getting focused inside their box on the right side, but the entire zone is throwing people off this mountain completely. Everyone has to just tumble down all the way towards the low ground. As a result, Bass and Ridiculous have infinite shots to take on as many duels as they want. Now everyone is repositioned. Mappy took so much fall damage. 2nd height down to maximum low. Clement and Floki still alive down there, but they're just tossed into a complete machine with Refsguard and Scram on the side as well. Bass and Ridiculous, the only people who don't have it rough right now, and they're making it completely difficult for everyone else.
Yeah, they have no even trying to step into their realm. They have complete control. You can see Milan 2nd height with such low HP, he won't even want anything to do with it. Clement is a solo down below. Jadis and Vortex remain one of the only strong duos in this one that has a say. And so what we'll do is drop down, but on that journey down, DKS will take out Vortex, and so instantly the high ground team realizing, look, these are the only ones that can stop. Let's deal with them personally, but the zone bounce will help them. Vortex will be able to be up, and Queasy now as a solo has a chance to stop it. When he gets the shots off, he will, and so that stops it. That means that they aren't a duo anymore. No, Vortex was able to be picked up, and so Queen now below. Can he deal with them? No, he can't. He's just a solo, and the Lex as well. He knows what it feels like, just to 9 builds as well. Can he do anything? He spots the loot. Will he go? No, he could have dealt with them builds. Them builds could have been helpful, but instead, he'll just find it himself by trying to hit some shots. It's not going to be enough. Can he drop down on low? He will be taken out as well. And so Bad Sniper and DKS against Refsguard and Scram, one of the few teams who was able to stay alive in all that chaos. And now the swing will come out. The gauntlets will reclaim. And Refsguard will look to win this game, steal it away from Bad Sniper and DKS. A huge shot comes out now as well, but he's on such low HP and he doesn't have Scram by his side anymore. Bad Sniper, can he clutch up? Can he stay in this game? They can't choke this now. DKS will connect with the shot, and finally the chains have been broken. Bad Sniper, he's been here so many times in the finals, but he's never quite been able to get the results, but will finally win a game in Game 5. Shire, what a win for these boys.
They change it from the FNCS finals to Wackago. Every single top player flying up in the skies, and they beam them down again and again. Hen down first after the fact. Queasy not able to survive. And the Lex barely even able to take a breath, a beam at anyone, and DKS has that angle. That is seasons of frustrations behind that shot, and it's beautiful for DKS and Bad Sniper.
DKS and Bad Sniper couldn't win a game in the FNCS CS finals in all of 2021. 2022 begins and they finally pick one up in the perfect time as well. Desk, break it all down for us. These guys are tilted, finally picking up a win.
Thank you guys so much. And this is why we talk about them at top of show, right? Once again, I cannot echo the sentiment enough. Literally every duo that is here is finals worthy, right? They are all so good at what they do. And as Levin kind of said, they're unshackled, they're free. They finally get a win. Now, I will say boo victory rounds don't always matter, but it does so much for your confidence as a duo. It just reinforces all the hard work, all the dedication you put into Fortnite. Walk away, especially in a lobby like this, with names like this, to be able to say, yo, we got to win, what up?
Yeah, I mean, they said, hey, Benji Savage, you did it last game. With this game as well, you know, they even tied them. 9 elimination victory royale there for the last set, but Benji Savage, 9 elimination victory royale as well. So, you know, they're so going to toe with the big boys, and it's always good to see Bad Snap, you know, finally doing well in a final situation. We love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, tilted back to back here. And honestly, when it got to the final 2v2, this was a battle of two teams who don't normally win games. You know, Levin said it, the Bad Sniper and DKS haven't managed to pick up a victory royale in all of the 2020. Was that 2021? Sorry, I'm getting lost.
Yeah.
Too many great facts he's spitting out here. But the same thing with Riftguard and Scram, that it was a 2v2 against them at the end game. They've only won one single game ever in a set lobby environment when they've been playing together. So it was like the battle of the game of who's actually going to manage to pick up that first one.
I mean, where else to do it but in finals, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's right, boys. You love to see it. That was game number 5. My goodness. We'll take a look at the standings here in just a moment, but I'm not disappointed. The action has gone back and forth. Now take a look, though. Andalex and X Squeeze finding themselves a spot. Now, they did go down with 6 elims in this last game, so they're still operating super well. Gambit 2 and Patrick, excuse me, who were in that first place spot, now get dropped down to second. But once again, I just cannot believe, I feel like I've never seen this before, Boop, how tight this leaderboard is right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we mentioned prior. You have so many games left, and you can't give up, right? And this is typical of it. The game of shakeups, that's what we will call this industry. You know, it's hard to be consistent. With the ways that Zone works in this game, you're going to have RNG, you're going to have bottom left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Everywhere. And this time the zone pulled all the way towards the north side near Sleepy Sound. And that means that the people that did well before, you know, are now set up to do a little bit worse. And the people that did bad prior to that are now set up to do a little bit better.
Yeah, as you see the second page, like Tayson, Thomas HD, Pinkin, and Nas, these guys are top 5 before this, right? Tayson, Thomas HD were 6th. Pinkin and Nas were 4th. And now they're all the way down to 12th because of this. Before the 4th zone, teams are going. We had Girls and Clown, who were first. Diox, who was in Benji, Tayson Thomas, who was 6th, and Lincoln Default 7th, all out. Before the 5th zone, we also saw an Aston pick. So basically everyone in our top 7 went out before zones even started to move, and that's why so many of them are now turning up on the second page. The huge shift that we've seen up in that first page has just been absolutely nuts. This right here is the Nas and Pink, you know, something that we've not seen from them so far, struggling with Surge.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's about the zone, right? All of these guys, they have to do something different now. You know, we've had 2 bottom left zones so far, and you know, you sort of get comfortable in it, but now all of a sudden you're gonna go somewhere else, everything gets jumbled, it's a little bit scary for you.
Oh man, we have 1 game left to go to cement what the landscape will look like going into tomorrow's games. Friends, with 1 game left, what do we need to change up, right? What do we need to ensure that in this next game, we can just set ourselves up to come in strong tomorrow?
I think you just got to finish strong. You can't go into this last game and say, you know what, I'm just going to grief. I'm going to land on another team. You know, try the same thing. I think it's fine if you do fail right now. You'll be able to VOD review it tomorrow, change things up, and come back stronger.
Yeah, I think every single point matters. Remember, 12 games, if you get 5, it's better than getting 0 at the end of the day. And there's a lot of teams out there through the qualifiers, like I'm thinking Janus Vortex, that in qualifier 2 in particular, had a pretty bad day. They didn't perform really well at all, but in that last game, they had this mentality of like, you know what? It doesn't matter. We can just do whatever we can here. And they picked up a 10 elimination victory royale. So I think there's going to be teams in the lobby right now who are further down the leaderboard. I'm looking at you, Hen and Queasy. You know, my prediction, even though they're still the 10th to 20, they're still doing okay. But still, that are like, right, let's get the mentality in check for that final game. Let's do well. Let's pick up the big victory. Let's get a bunch of eliminations and let's fly up the leaderboard.
You have to, right? This is kind of that time, especially. I do like your point, though, Boov, right? Taking today to kind of VOD review and then say, what do we change for tomorrow, right? Even if this is not your greatest game, like, it's still okay. You have another 6 tomorrow to come back and make those changes. We'll have to see what today looks like, what tomorrow looks like, and how they compare. But for right now, this is it. The last game here in EU. I cannot believe it's gone so fast in day number 1, but it's that time. We're jumping on that battle bus one last time. So, Shy Wager 11-2K. Over to you.
One more game and you can see the shadows of the podium kind of in the distance of tomorrow. It comes down to one elimination on day 2, and you can make that difference right now. If you're any of these teams, 11, this is their chance to maybe change their destiny before it even starts.
And what an opportunity, right? We're seeing all these teams seemingly coming from out of nowhere at times to really push their way up in the standings. And you're right, it's these small margins that you'll look back on. You'll maybe think to yourself, oh, maybe if I just tried to get that one elimination on low ground, maybe that would have been the difference, right? And you never want to finish the 2 days feeling that way, right? So you got to go all out, and this is your chance to do it. Close out day 1 strong and go into day 2 even stronger.
Yeah, and the position for any of these teams is anything but distance. So close for everyone, and that's why Levin's mentioning we see so many random teams buff up game after game. We were focusing on Pink and Anas, maybe refs like scramming that last game. Both me and Levin faces confused, and we see Analex and X-Squeeze, a dual 11 that struggled in every portion of the competition.
Yeah, you know, looking at these guys, I would have never thought they would be in a position, right? Even with the wealth of experience they have, I think that was always the one thing people would say. It's like, these guys have all the experience in the world. This season, they've just been off the pace. But when it mattered the most, they've stepped up. But can they do it one more time? Find out. Game 6.
The last game of the first day of the FCS Finals in one of the most prestigious regions of all. It's Europe. And we're diving right in to 2 big egos, 2 big storylines on the side of Savage and Benji, DKS and Bad Sniper. Imagine contesting each other almost every game, landing at the same spot and being at the exact same point total, 110 for both teams, tied for 6th place.
And it's interesting, we're seeing a role reversal here. Benji and Savage actually got out-dropped, right? And so they don't get main. They're going to be forced to go to south side of Tilted. And it's not bad, right? South side Tilted in its own right is its POI and can reap very good benefits. But an interesting change in this final game. We're seeing actually now at Sleepy. Sleepy's been a very, very, very rough ride for Seti and Chapix. It's provided nothing but pain. And if you are on social media paying attention to Chapix and Seti, what they're saying on there is just very demoralizing stuff. They're clearly down in the dirt emotionally, but they need to rise. And this is their chance to do it, because tomorrow's a new day and a new opportunity to win Sleepy. They've forced Joe and Vino out, which is one of the first times they've been able to say that, but the job's not finished.
Job's not done. Does it look like it's done, Levin? Nah. The job is not done. And for Joe and Vino as well, I just feel like it's been struggle game after game. It feels like their job hasn't even started fully when it comes to the FNCS. Already almost done with day number 1, but I haven't seen them find their identity in any of these games at all. We've seen high ground teams survive left and right. Pink, Nox, Anas? Wasn't sure it's possible, but they're really pushing the boundaries of Fortnite right now. We'll see exactly what happened there. Maybe just got him back up, and it's a little error on that side. But at the same time, Covert Cavern looking good overall for this team. They have some control, a little knock at the river overall as well. And that's kind of what they need. We talk about those high ground teams, the teams with identity. Pink and us at multiple times have pushed towards the skies, gone for control, you know what I mean, over and over again inside EU. And they've had a sense of it a little bit. They just have to stay consistent now.
Clown and Grolls. A surprising team, to say the least. They've never played in an FNCS final, but they've done so well to be 3rd place up until game 5. And is this the reversal now? Vino, I believe, was picked up. Joe got him up, and as soon as he gets him up, Joe gets taken out, and so now Vino's the solo, fending for his duo's life. This is a very, very weird circumstance. You can see here, He's got some shields, but he doesn't want to use them. Just doesn't want to reveal his location. Of course, Seti and Chapik still in the general area. He doesn't know if they'll be able to hear the sound cue. He has his eyes set out. So you're going to take that shot? Ooh.
As soon as he does, everyone will know exactly where he is, and he barely has any builds. So it's like, do I or don't I? But then Storm Surge is coming in as well. Thomas and Tayson, something has to change for them at this POI. If it doesn't, I feel that they can take the competition away on day 2 easily. And that was kind of like a backhanded compliment, I think. I was kind of rooting against them at the beginning of that sentence and then buffing them up at the end. I'm serious in saying that if no one can really contest Covert, I've seen random teams already come in. I've seen the worst circumstances possible at Covert Cavern, and Thomas HD and Tayson have one off spawn. Their issue is not the spawn at all. That's what we all thought it would be, at least by game 4, 5, 6, by the end of the day, but it's been looking good overall over and over again. And once again, Tayson, he's there in the box and he finds that first ceiling.
Yeah, but they got a team doing their dirty work for them. Team Castry coming in and they take out Phoenix. I'm not sure if Ryzen's still up, but even when they got teams in the general area, they won't even focus their attention on them. And the ooh from you, right? Because they got to be careful. These guys are literally just right around the corner. Tayson almost running into Ryzen there. And he will run into Ryzen. Doesn't get the wall in time. And so Ryzen will be able to get out. But for how much longer? The Stinger will do so much damage. Oh.
This man's missing shots. I never see it. It's harder ones in the end game, like 180 off like a, gauntlet jumping through 6 builds. Headshot with a pixel. Pre-fire. Tayson lands it. Oh, Ryzen running like with a bigger hitbox through a wall. I can't hit that one, man. Twice.
I think we've actually reached a point where Tayson's greatness is actually, become a disadvantage to him. We just have such high expectations, right? Where anytime he misses even the slightest shot, which we typically expect him to hit, the criticism comes out. Look, I think these guys, as much as the past couple games maybe haven't been on that same level as the earlier ones were, they still do have control of Covert, sorry. But like you said, will they be able to fend teams off from coming? Is this the kind of performance that will stop teams from even wanting to get involved? I don't quite think so. I'm with you on that one. I think we might start to see, and even there, you did see Pablo and Swag necessarily diving into a fight. They're intelligent players. They know not to do anything that foolish, but, feeling like they can get, some of Covert for themselves and really get involved and have a say there.
Fight will be a little bit sticky overall, but still, job's not done for Tayson Thomas. They want a top 5 or top 8 right now. Same thing. That's the same theme for Xwiza and Alex at this side, the back half of the number 1 overall. I think for this team 11, they've been in this spot in game 5s. I've seen it before many times. They always get triumphed in game 6. Might foreshadow what happens the next day. They want to make sure today, if they have that crown before the day ends, they can keep wearing it when that sun sets, right? They want to make sure they're still in that first place slot. That's Seti rolling in the Chonkers. I was very close. I said Rocky Reels is where they can maybe roll in and have a little bit of an impact. They do it a little bit more on the south side. And then a little bit of a situation there. Ryzen going for trade a little bit on the other side. Oh, Phoenix is like, no, not the head, man. I just the haircut. It looks good.
Maybe he was trying to show off the haircut.
Oh, I remember back in the day, you could like hold the enemy player and then you had the sniper shotgun combination, maximum damage, all this tech, man. So nostalgic.
What, you calling for it to be brought back?
Absolutely not. I'm chilling, man.
Understandable.
Surge inflation, man. Surge is basically a currency in Fortnite, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you gotta make sure we're tracking it properly. Okay, this is an awesome pink. They're early game at Covert. Big shots, nice. That's where all that loot ended up. Side the river. They've always been in this position outside of Covert, all the way at the top, making sure they peer in after all these fights. People are comfortable. They'd be interrupting their daily strolls. Look, they do have the zone completely as well. Also making sure that that define does not break the builds they already have structured up. That would be very important.
Anas. Called him the robot earlier. And again, not because, not as an insult, genuinely. He's just so robotic in that he just doesn't really make many mistakes. He's so reliable, cool, calm, and collected at all times. And that's really helped out today, especially in their pursuit of playing on height. Benji and Savage, wouldn't say they're as cool, calm, and collected, but more than enough firepower to make up for that. And to be fair, as we all watch Benji and Savage, it's more fun when they're more erratic, you know, when they're running around everywhere, getting deep in it. But in this last game, they might look to try to play a bit more of a reserved approach, really stretch this game out as best as possible before they head to bed and rethink some new strats. Swifty hitting a real nice shot onto Joe there, wow. In the zone. Willie hit the last one as well. Wow, what a clutch there from Swifty. Impressive stuff. Literally was spinning 360 to pick up those 2 limbs. That's
And
nice.
my back and arms just hurt watching that, like stretching literally behind himself. It's crazy.
Honestly,
As will
man.
be.
Honestly, I can't even move like that. My mouse, I can't even move 360 like that and hit shots while doing it.
Really?
Crazy. Nah, man, I'm getting old, man, in the Fortnite scene. I'm a boomer.
I'm wondering if there's like a tech, you know, 2 hands on 1 mouse, so you can have like a little bit more control. Like you don't move, but like you become like the ultimate, you know, aimer. No?
I like where you're going.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's viable for certain reasons.
Have you tried it?
I can't say I've tried it. No, you're right.
How can you say that, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to toss a little respect into creativity. You know, people didn't use to 90 back in the day. I was alive around those times. And then someone tried it, you know?
Prehistoric Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Saying 2 hands on 1 mouse.
Back in my day, we didn't do any of this 90s stuff that you kids are doing now. That's what you sound like, mate.
Editing? What? Me? No. Janus trying to pick up Vortex. Winning that first game, I feel like can be a curse sometimes, you know? I think we see it every FNCS as well. I feel like Janus Vortex, they're kind of that counter team rolling in when it comes to... They like to play around a bunch of the teams that are already playing in there, but they don't ever have a chance to stay really truly alive for enough info in these end games. That being said, though, still 3rd overall, right? So the work they've done today, I'm just expecting, I think, a bit too much when I see these names. You're talking about Tayson missing shots. I'm like, wow, Tayson's fallen off. Janus in 3rd. Wow, Janus has washed, bro. How can you be 3rd place on day 1? That's crazy.
I think the big thing with these guys, when I look at their match history, is it's very reminiscent of what it looked like during the qualifiers as well, right? Where first game, really good game. 3 games where you just basically don't do anything, pretty middling games, maybe you get a couple points here and there. And then most recent game, 4th place, 3 eliminations, really nice game, right? These guys will have their good game, go to sleep for a couple games, and then come back with a big pop-off. And so maybe they've already had the 2, you know, big games for them in the day already. I'm sure they'll be hoping that they can have another one and sneak it in here in the last one of the day, but this is the kind of thing you can expect them to do, right? They'll probably come tomorrow, win the first game again, do nothing for 5 games, come back in game 6 and do it and do a masterclass, right? That's the kind of team these guys are.
Just saying, for like a majority of the time, Janus Vortex will show up, leave, say my job is done, but guys, you've done nothing, and it just, you know, flash a cape at the screen away.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying they rely on zone luck, right? I think that'd be very disingenuous to how good they are as a duo and how good Janus is as an IGL. But, you know, like Boop was saying on the desk, at times, some of these things can almost be out of control, right? When you get these really difficult zones, you know, it just increases the difficulty of the game to a point where in such an intense lobby like the FNCS final, where the finest of margins, you just get punished way more than you would in maybe lesser stakes competition as they try to get their way into a safer position in the zone. You can see Andalex in the bottom right taking shots at a team. The team he's taking shots at is Janus on this bridge. And so Janus has no easy path to getting in. Finally, Andalex helping out by taking shots at the other team that's holding Janus in. But ultimately, there's just way too many people with their eyes on Janus, and so it seems to be only a matter of time until he eventually goes down. Surge as well. The lobby isn't even on his side here. Everybody against Janus. Janus against the world.
He's not going to be able to live today. On one side, you have Andalex turning a hole into a half when you have, you know, Vortex going down, and then after that, this close range, Janus gets picked apart as well.
A lot of fighting just took place, but we're still 5 players going down away from Surge being deactivated. Make that 4.
There's too many top 10 teams. I feel like we have 20 teams in the top 10. What is this?
It does feel that way, man. The point differential is just so small between them that like we actually don't have a top 10. We have a top 20 that is the top 10, because at any given moment, one team gets a point, they go from 17th to 2nd. Like it's actually so insane how close it is. And we knew this would be a possibility, right? You know, people in the community talking about it. It was always a possibility that this FNCS was going to be super close. But it's been even more intense than even I could have imagined in that regard. So we'll see if that trend continues in this final game. I expect it to.
Wondering what Trulux's plan is here with those ramps. Maybe just for a little bit more stability, maybe to set a trap. I'm not sure, but invested a few materials as a solo. That can mean a lot. Meanwhile, Swag, once again, Crazy Spirit lives on. He's able to Storm Surge as well as possibly the Storm, because he is himself down bad, way far away from where he needs to be.
Chico, apparently the only duo with 2 eliminations in every game so far today.
Okay.
I don't expect that streak to continue under these circumstances. You can see Trulex doesn't have Chico with him, and he isn't looking too good.
Ooh, an Os. I have to assume that's him up on that mountain. No other way. This is the opposite side of things, though, towards the ground. Vidil calling himself off, and after that, no, struggling. This is a 1v1. So important, because once again, towards A2, every point will matter. That's a lot of potential placement gone for Vidil. That's a freelim gone for Vidil as well. Him and Reason. We'll see if it affects them on day number 2. That's exactly what people are doing right now. They're making sure they get the most out of their games, the most out of their game plans as well on day number 1. You might not be able to use the same drop even, or the same strat coming in to day number 2. Everyone's looking for the maximum amount of points. No one's really desperate completely to change things up. It's going to be a very well thought out, structured game of Fortnite. That's still why we have 65 alive in this 4th zone turning into 5th.
And you can see Trulex, players all around him, trying to knock his structure out, and he keeps having to come down and invest some builds. But every time he comes down to invest builds, he has to tank a bit of the Storm and use some chug. It's now down to no chug splashes and only 9 builds as well. It's not looking good for him at all. As a solo, it's very dire. And once again, I believe it's Anderlex. Yeah, Anderlex is the one that's forcing him to commit these matches. Anderlex is such a little pest, isn't he? Just another time. First it was Janus, now it's against Trulex, where you're just sitting in... He's the real one lurking in the shadows, right? Lurking in the darkness.
And you'll never see Anderlex in that situation at all across the entire competition so far. First time I feel like we've seen him really in control of a lobby, and he's back to doing what he used to do when these guys controlled the north side of the map ways ago in the old chapter. It feels like he's finally back to, you know, his annoying self in terms of dealing damage, stealing positions from other players, and just being a nuisance.
Yeah, and coinciding that with being in first place now. It's perfect time for that. Trulex. You might as well just, yeah, I was literally going to start counting down. I was literally going to start counting down to see when he would go down. And before I could even start my countdown, he gets taken out. So.
All right, test for you, Levin. This duo's name?
Poos and I can't, man. I can't. I'm sorry.
Twos and Future will be rolling in 45 below. It's getting chilly for them a little bit. Toughness. And Benji and Savage will be down to Cammy inside the feed. Optimum point as well. I think that's their loot on the right side. Yeah. Someone will have to try to get it. A refresh for Cammy at this point spells the best for this game. Usually this is the time where they start to run out of resources. A few of those materials, you know, they're mid-game masterminds. They love to over-invest in those bases and hopefully try to make that back in terms of pads later on in the game.
Especially with this zone pulling up to the north, right? All these hills, all these mountains, loads of the players in the lobby would have had to commit a lot of materials to ensure their safety, right? So if you can find a refresh at this stage, it's going to be so fruitful.
Yeah, and momentum's a lot of, a big part of those refreshes. We see the hierarchy kind of change overall on the map. Kemi and Teak taken out by Letchi, who I believe was taken out by DK. Yeah, so him and Bad Sniper still active right now inside that top 10. They're 9th right beside Benji and Savage. They're looking to really push things forward. We just saw Benji and Savage go down, so they can even go way further past their counterparts. Having that point advantage on day 2 while they're sharing POIs gives you so many more options. It's really for DKS and Bad Sniper to have a good game right now.
Yeah, and you can see here the mechanics coming out from 2 spot. Really rough stuff. Doesn't have control of the right side wall, and it will cost him. He will go down. Puchik was nowhere to be found to support her.
And it's Fury is the one who's going to pick that up. Meanwhile, we see DKS taken out. Letchi and Solium in the feed. Absolutely glorious. They're really pushing forward right now. At the same time, Chapix taken out as well. I think Queasy is going to put a stop to any type of potential comeback they had on the back half of the day.
Yeah, you can see Underlex in a squeeze now in this final game. Sitting way above, posturing for some sort of hype play. We'll see. We've already seen it hold it out from around 5th zone. And so we'll see if they follow in Pink and Nass's footsteps. Taysom and Thomas, though, we talked about how they all be wanting to make them this last game, as the past couple just haven't quite gone their way. And of course, they have those launch pads, and that's always going to make this a possibility.
The game's only get harder for Taysom and Thomas, landing at one of the best POIs overall on day 2. They have to make sure they get as many points here right now. Possibly over to 150, possibly even a game win. We know they're good for 1 at least on the days, even 2, 3 overall as they're keeping through. Taysom with the nice beams. And they will actually get zone as well. The first moving will go straight up the mountain. Everyone that's low on mats, look at those totals. Putrick on the left. Even Taysom right now, they've invested a bunch to get to this spot. Have to make sure they're using the utmost perfect ways. Even one slip up, you go slipping down the peak.
You see, right? Thomas dropping the launch pad instantly. You know what their thought process is. They want to have to deal with committing the sort of mats you need on these rotations. They're going to let the pad. Queasy and Hen. Can this finally be the game? Can this finally be the game where they actually are able to do something on height? It's taken them 5 games to get to this point, but things are setting up well for them.
They're only 20 points behind the upper echelon of the lobby. It's time to join that club though now, because this is where it has to happen, and it's one of these mountain zones that we know Hen is so good at playing. It's also one of those zones that's so tough to play as a solo as Puchik starts to move. He's going around so many other builds that are mountains of their own. No, that's nice. Vacation for him as he sees high ground completely clash. Will he just go for it? Maybe a free heal or 2. We saw the shields crack. He saw the fireworks. He wants to be part of the show, but he gets snuffed out immediately, extinguished as his match now rained down to just maybe a frightening 300. Queasy and Hen are the ones to lead the celebration of game number 6. Absolute high ground. Look at this weapon. Look how big it is. There's no way they can stay up top for too long.
Yeah, they've got to be careful. They've slowly got to condition everybody down below them. Will quickly drop, and the Let's in it squeezed on the first place team. You'll know they'll be thinking about it, but they start to drop, and you can see Putrick, he picks up 1 as a solo. A crazy height tick attempt, but he's able to stay alive, but not for much longer. He will go down.
Anas and Pink also rise up, but quickly Hen and Queasy slap them in the face. They go tumbling straight back down, and this is what I was talking about. Maybe too high for the moment. No, Anas and Pink are still going for it. All in for Queasy's in just absolute shambles now. The materials to upkeep that level of high ground is too much, and it's Thomas and Taysom who take the lead. Still 3 teams battling for that height. X-Rees and Analex, they're going to go down to default for now. Hoopin Faction also here to maybe make a say. It's game 6. Anything can happen or go either way. Thomas and Taysom look to just keep making sure everything is pushed apart, and they have 2 different sight lines to beam down any teams down below. Hen and Queasy, they were waiting to see a trap. Thomas, though, he has ears, eyes everywhere down low on the scene. He knows exactly what you want to do before you even do it.
Yeah, they've done really well when they forced Queasy and Hen lower. And these low elevations, they've struggled. But Pink now wants to get involved. The armor ball will come out, and they have it. They've stolen it from Thomas and Taysom. Pink and Nas, the battle for high ground between all these top height teams. And Pink and Nas will be the ones to stay on top.
they're the main characters of the sequel, but I feel like there's going to be a part 3 coming very, very soon. The Siptos is popping down on the low ground feed. That's a lot of elims. That's a lot of leaderboard changes, but who really controls the lobby? Tayson inside the boxes is where he loves to be, making sure he churns out any player who's desperate in the zone. That'll be Malabuka going down. As a result, though, Thomas is going to fall inside the feed as well. Hen picks him apart. So big names clashing as Anas also doesn't have complete control of the height. He finally sees a little bit of that light. He drops all the way towards the top, and now the entire zone is getting compressed. He needs to move all the way up. There's a mountain in the way, and you can't shoot your way past this one, boys. Everyone on low is about to be suffocated.
Pink and Anas, how have they done this? Clown, he's gonna try and get up, but there's not much room for him. Default as well as a solo. He has to try and find any avenue he can. He has some materials, but trying to push his way through the brute force that is Pink and Anas will just be so impossible. He has to hope it keeps pulling down. Kimzel doesn't have the Siptos by his side, but they've done a brilliant job so far. 9 eliminations on the game. Can they get any more? Default will try to stop him. He knows he's in the zone, but he's got a warrior at the height team above him. He can see him in the zone, but the gauntlet comes through, and it's not enough for Kimzel. He will fall, and Default and Pink and Anas are now in a battle against each other.
Default with 8 eliminations, really doing the most, even if he doesn't win this game 6. What a performance from this individual from start to finish. He's just rained down shots and they've connected, and right now he's also in that 1v2, making his HP even with Anas. He has to go down here. There's no way, right? Blocking off a few walls. He has 100 builds in total to kind of work with. First shot denied, and it's Anas and Pink that end the day with a victory royale.
The second of the day for Anas and Pink. What a journey it's been. They qualified in the second round, and this is what we knew they could do. When they get height, they win games. Shire Wager, it's been a dominating height performance from them. They beat out all of the best height teams in the land. Queasy and Hen finished. Tayson, Thomas, done. These guys are the high ground alphas.
And that was absolutely a fight. You're correct. That was not free high ground that we've seen in the past 5 games. 3, 4, 5 different retakes with legends trying to contest for that position. They are the ones that win it out. They are the ones to be in the lead for the story coming into day 2. A beautiful game 6 from Anas and Pink.
An absolutely flawless game on their behalf, but even beyond that, the solo clutch there. 8 eliminations for solo. He's literally single-handedly carrying and winning his team through that game.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the way they denied it too, we never see Anas and Pink give things up completely and not take them back for a while. They waited for people to fight on height. And if we're looking at one team, Levin, the fanboy over, someone who has the power, the prowess to win, I feel like Pink and Anas are a step above the entire lobby right now.
Yeah, they've done such a brilliant job, right? The pink split, as he likes to call it, right? We're not going to call it that just yet. Maybe if you continue these games, right? If you keep winning games like this, maybe we will be calling it the pink split in a couple days or 2. But honestly, they've done really, really well out of the spot. The llama definitely helps, but the way they take height is even more impressive.
Absolutely. That was day number 1, though, of the EU FNCS finals. Levin absolutely smashed it, and it was so much fun to do the first half of the games. More tomorrow, but to break down who's in the lead, are Pink and Anas literally just built different? It's the desk. Zeke, Boop, Reese, what you got?
Thank you guys so much. And Shire Wager, don't sell yourself short. You're also incredible. Also my spirit animal. Now you know. Wow. And as Reese answered, yes, they are in fact just built different. My goodness. They are the only team here in EU to get 2 VRs on the day, which actually we saw similarly out of Middle East, Asia, and OCE. I mean, this is exactly the kind of place you want to be going into day number 2, right, Boob? You come in and you say, look, we have cemented a solid lead, right? We've done everything we've needed to, and now it's about holding on, or really, if we're, say, in top 3, we want that number 1 spot. It's time to push ourselves, right? They have such a strong position right now.
Yeah, we doubted them a lot in the top of show, right? We thought, you know, there's so many good height teams in this lobby. Would they be able to succeed? But preparation overcomes everything else. And these guys are one of the most prepared duos in this final. And they're showing it off. I mean, ridiculous from them. And also 5 eliminations. So we're getting up there in world record territory.
You know, I'm also saying at the top of the show, I said these guys in 2 of the cash cups they made have won 2 of the games. The qualifier that they qualified through, they won 2 of the 6 games. 6 games today. How many have they won? Any random wild guesses? It's 2 indeed. These guys are winning consistently 33% of the matches in every lobby that they go into. And this was another game where they pulled zone. Yeah, they were lucky with the covert zones, but they capitalized on that yet again. They got a second llama that was there. They played it to an absolute T and destroyed every other high team in the lobby.
So fantastic. Let's take a look at the standings. Reese, Boop, you know me, man. I just want to see everybody win all the time, so I can't help but be stressed. But the standings will tell the ultimate story, right? After 6 games, where have these duos ended up on just these first days? Pink and Anas. After that, they take the lead, but it's only by 2 points. You know, Reese, I feel like Rolls and Clown, I don't want to say we've not talked about them because we have, but they are just putting on a show right now.
We've not talked about them enough, right? These guys have been fantastic. I feel like also when it came to the semifinals, right, they won their semifinal date that they qualified from, and it's like similarly there, they didn't get enough limelight just because they were just slow, right? They kind of just went under the radar. These guys haven't necessarily won any games, but they've just gotten 3 really good end games, popped off, and just stayed at the top of the leaderboards.
Yeah, I mean, they overcame adversity as well, right? They were landed on by Hookah and Zeston in the last 2 games. They overcame that, and being able to put themselves in 2nd place is a little bit ridiculous in this spot. Link and Default also very close by. I mean, if you look at this finals leaderboard, I mean, these are all FNCS winners potentially that we're seeing here, and it makes day 2 just so much more exciting.
Yeah, and I also want to add to this quickly before we go into the next page. Hayden Queasy, what a comeback.
Yeah.
Now, the first 2 games, 30th and 33rd, and then they've gone 11th, 11th, 5th, and then that last game, 6th with 8 eliminations, flying up leaderboards now, only 11 points behind first. If we switch over to that second page, though, we will see exactly what's going on. How are these teams faring? Remember, 121 is the current cutoff for top 10. So again, still really close. Yeah, Trilix and Hugo, who we saw doing really well there. Vortex and Janice, who won the first game as well. Benji and Savage, unfortunately, dropping a little bit down there as well, though.
Interesting to see the game winners not being in the top 10. Just shows how consistent everyone else is comparison. You just got to make it to those late games. You can't just be winning and then falling off.
Yeah, it's not just about the Victory Royale, right? Like, obviously, the Victory Royale is huge, and in the moment, it feels great, but you have to have that consistency factor, right? Even if you're just placing top 5 every game with, like, 4 elims, you're going to find yourself at the top of the leaderboard, right? Yeah. Because you're just doing consistent, right? So if you guys are new to Fortnite and you're like, wait, the Victory Royale, shouldn't that be the top? That's why, and now you're in the know. What a perfect day number 1, and tomorrow we'll be back with day number 2, where we're crowning duos champions. Before we say goodbye, we actually have some champions to crown right here, right now, because remember, we actually have a region that has already completed their games. So, of course, we have to crown them champions. They will take hold of said Axe of Champions. And once again, congratulations to the Middle East winners, King's very own Bleed and Metals FKS 404. Just a ridiculous number, Boop. Just insane.
Yeah. I mean, 0 victory rounds as well, though. That's, I guess, another interesting thing. Like you said, how consistent. You need to win a game. You just got to make it to late game. And 45 eliminations, I'm not sure if that's very high season. I don't know. That's crazy.
I think so. I want to quickly, this is their placement. I just want to do this. Second, 4th, second, 7th, 38th, 3rd, 9th, 11th, 6th, 2nd. So there's like so many seconds. Like I watched a couple of these guys' games from yesterday. Low ground, mid ground team, basically the Kamisei and Teak of that region, and absolutely dominating.
Wow. There you go. So once again, the Victory Royale doesn't always matter, man. When you have a scoreline like that, you will walk away the champ. Let's quickly touch on the predictions. How have we done so far? Listen, I just want to say we still have a whole nother day, okay? All right, it's fine. Everything is okay. We will revisit this tomorrow.
Hey, this is good. This is good. Thomas, it's good.
It's fine.
7th right now on my leaderboard. Yeah, and Hen Queasy 4th or 3rd. You know, that's not bad.
Yeah,
we'll take that. Both in the top 10.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Tomorrow, though, you know, of course, Thomas HD and Teeks are gonna win, right? Boop. I mean, you know. I mean, we're gonna be right at the end of the day.
Yeah, Reese got saved a little bit there at the end in the last game by Hen Queasy. I was gonna put him down. Finally, like, yes, I did better. But unfortunately, Thomas and Teeks are not really living up to the standards. But there's still 6 more games tomorrow, so anything can happen.
Anything can and anything will. Fortnite fan, that is it from us today. We really appreciate you guys hanging out. If you're watching from Legends Landing, special props to you. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget, if you like what you're seeing, we have NA East and NA West, both regions have 6 games as well. And then we're back tomorrow, same time, same place. And we're crowning some champions. As always, we love you all so dearly. Keep yourself safe. And as always, we'll see you on the battle bus.
Day one, beep beep.
Bye-bye.
does get harder. Oh my god.
Let's go. I'm ready for the random patch of grass or like the random wall up close. I'm just not gonna be able to understand.
Oh, this is a good one.
This is on the south side of Sleepy Sounds. This is looking towards the lighthouse behind it.
Oh, this is from Sleepy Sound, I think.
This is definitely Sleepy Sounds, I'd say.
This is that Sleepy Sound.
That is Sleepy Sound.
It's a little close, but
Let's go. We are in Condo Canyon.
This is actually my drop spot, I believe. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is Condo Canyon.
I'm not 100% sure. I just say Condo Canyon.
oh, this is at Condo Canyon.
That is Kando. I don't know the name. Kando something. Kando Canyon.
Condo Canyon. Nice.
I'm just too goated at this or something. I don't know what to say. Oh my god, this one is such a hard one.
Uh-oh.
I think this is Bugle.
Meowscles Morsel.
Okay, no, this one is this one's in Coney.
Probably Tilted Towers because of the building.
Coney? I'm just guessing Coney. I'm not sure.
So the building looks familiar. I think I'm gonna say Tilted.
I don't know a sign on the view. I didn't even know it was there.
Nice.
No way.
Oh my lord, what is this? What is this?
This is Greasy Grove, 100%.
Oh, Greasy.
Easy. This one is so easy. It's Greasy Grove.
Gosh, I have no clue.
Oh, this is at Greasy. I land Greasy, so.
I'm gonna go with Rocky Rios.
Let's go.
4 for 4.
Oh, this is a tough one.
If it's not Jones's, it might be Camp Cuddle, but I think it's Jones's. I'm gonna lock in Jones's.
Is this Shifty Shafts? Oh, wait, no, it could be Camp Cuddle.
I think Camp Cuddle because of the trees and the campfire. I don't really know.
The Joneses?
Like, this doesn't even seem like a POI. Like, I'd say Camp Cuddle.
Great. Great.
Loot Lake, wow. Yeah, I have not been here.
Yeah, I've never been here either. Yeah, don't land here.
See, I would have never guessed that.
I want to win FNCS. I know that I can. I got so close in the last 2 FNCSs, and I know that I still have it in me.
Improve my aim as much as I can, and I definitely want to try to win at least one more FNCS this year.
For FNCS, I really want a good FNCS Grand Final finish. I really want to finish in the top maybe 10 or 5.
Like I've been playing more than ever, grinding more than ever. I'm really trying to be number 1 this year.
My main goals for 2022 is to place consistently in every FNCS, but mainly win FNCS.
Just get a bigger name and probably win like at least one FNCS this year.
I get 2 in my head sometimes, especially in solos, and I think that's something that a lot of players struggle with. I just need to work on it again to make me unstoppable.
I think I want to really improve on my mentality.
I want to show people that I haven't peaked yet, you know?
Being more consistent as a duo, me and Threats and stuff, so I think that would be really good.
I just want to keep improving on like everything, like game building, like game knowledge.
I'd say my strongest point is definitely endgame.
I have really good mechanics since a really long time, and if I just keep playing the game, I will forever be good.
I've had this burning fire in me to play duos and compete in tournaments since the last duo FNCS. This is like my core game mode, and I'm gonna do insanely well.
One of my strongest points is in duos, and this year of FNCS is all duos, so it's pretty stacked up in my favors.
Anytime we're in late game, we're always getting a lot of kills and popping off on low ground, so everybody better watch out.
I think stressing is the really thing I improve on. Before I used to always stress in tournament and think about what can happen.
One of my biggest mistakes right now is like I sometimes get greedy when I see a kill.
And it doesn't really matter where you land. At the end of the day, you're gonna play grand finals, and as long as you have a good spot, you can cash out and make a lot of money for yourself.
Like learn what your mistakes are. Like you can't go back and redo it, so you just gotta learn and try to not do it in the future.
Just getting through all these tournaments, trying to learn as much as I can from them is honestly pretty much what I'm doing all the time now. So that's pretty much it.
I'm just trying to make myself as mechanically sound as possible, so that way, like, there's just nothing that can be put past me.
So far I've qualified for every Duo Cash Cup that I played, so I think that's a really, really good start.
I feel like this year is definitely like my year.
Yeah, I'm coming into this FNCS feeling strong. I'm very positive that I'll do good throughout the whole year, but especially this FNCS, and yeah, hopefully I win.
All right, what's going on, Fortnite fam? Today I'm in the lobby with Cease. How are you getting on today? Simple one to start it off.
I'm doing pretty good,
Perfect. That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear. So I'm gonna go with a bit of a wild card to start things off with here. Assuming the entire world was a 0-ping single region, who would you want to duo with?
I probably want to do it with Volks, because he's a funny man. He's OCE, and yeah, I've hung out with him a bunch of times.
Another weird one. Time travel your current skill back to the 2019 Solo World Cup. Where are you placing?
I don't think I put much more than like a couple hours into practicing for solos, because I was so focused on duos, and duos was of course the day before, so I was already excited. I was like, I already did so what can I do? So I literally landed at the most shambles spot ever. If I could change anything, I would probably just land the block.
What would be the first and best piece of advice you'd give someone who's kind of new, starting to get into the competitive scene now and just starting to improve their kind of Fortnite competitive placement?
If you place top 15 in a cash cup, take that $200, whatever it is, and put it aside. If you get top 10 in the grand finals, just put that aside for a new computer or for a new mouse that you've been wanting or whatever. Like, invest in yourself. That's exactly what I did. Like, my two teammates in the last FNCS were on the worst computers possible. I got them new computers for the Grand Royale, and look what happened. We made I think we made double what we made in FNCS.
Where do you rate yourself on the greatest of all time, the GOAT list?
I think right now I probably put myself, within the top 25. But I think after this year, I'll be, back into the top 10, top 5.
There's a lot of money to play for when it comes for a lot of these finals, and there's a lot of stress involved in that too. Are you planning anything in particular with your mindset?
I don't think I had any nerves at World Cup. Like, I literally at duos, and I can tell because we were so prepared and we had a game plan knocked out. But then it came to solos, and I was extremely nervous because I had nothing, and I was by myself, and so like, now into trios, it's like, this last FNCS, I had so much prepared. I knew exactly what our game plan was. I knew what we were going to do, and we knocked it out.
You already mentioned earlier, your favorite game mode is duos in particular. What's your least favorite game mode?
Well, duos is always like a part of the game, but when trios came out, I was like, oh, no way, a year of trios. I hate it. Now we're on the duos, and I'm like, no, trios is gone. I want trios. And so I always didn't like squads, and I'm guessing if squads got announced for a year or however long, I would be like, I'd hate it, but then by the end of the year, I'd love it. So it's just like, I don't really know. I think squads right now, but who knows? Maybe it's probably solos, honestly.
Thank you very much for your time, Cease. It's very, very, very appreciated here. Where can the people find you?
At Cease on everything. That's just my handle across all socials. So just stay in touch.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
FNCS NA East. Thousands of players have been battling to claim champions. Only 100 now remain. This weekend, these duos will battle out 12 games to find the ultimate winners. Will Peterbot once again show his ability to clutch when it matters? We've never had a final without Kanata and Stretch, but neither have active champions. With teammates like Acorn and Commandment, but one of them finally reigns supreme at the top of NA East, $130,000 for first place. Everything is on the line as the 50 best duos compete in the FNCS Finals.
This is it. Act 1 of the biggest Fortnite show on the planet. You've got your tickets, and now is the final installment of the Ultimate Weekend Trilogy. Get your chili chug splashes at the refreshment stand, grab your front row seat as we pull the curtains wide open on this Battle Bus Bonanza, because it's FNCS final times, baby! My name's Adam Savage. I am your host throughout the entirety of the NAE finals this week, and this is going to be incredible. Alongside me, of course, you know, I got the knockout combo, the 1-2 combo of Vivid and SBG as well. Fellas, welcome into this. We're here at Legends Landing, as you can see behind me right now, which is amazing. Vivid, 50 duos, man. This region alone, $600,000 plus up for grabs here. Day 1 of finals. How are you feeling, my friend?
Oh, I am feeling so great. It's good to be back on the desk again for another finals. They're just flying by at this point because the competition is always just so fun to watch, and these players bring it all every single weekend, and that's what makes it so enjoyable. I can't wait to see what they bring today. EU was absolutely fantastic to watch, and I'm hoping NAEs can live up to the hype, but I know they can. How are you feeling, SBG?
Oh, I'm ecstatic right now. We're jumping in. We're watching the best players in the region. This is what we've all been waiting for, guys. So I'm bouncing off the walls.
Even that intro video as well. Vivid, you're gassing me up, man. Setting the tone for us as well. This is amazing. But before we go any further, let's talk about what is actually behind us. Legends Landing. If you guys don't know about this, well, it's time to tell you once more. You can watch all the actions of FNCS Finals unfold on the new Legends Landing you can see on the screen right now. It's found in the Buy Epic Discovery Row, and we've talked about how great this is. It's a great opportunity to meet up with your pals, for instance, to embrace all things FNCS Finals from a really cool location. It's great. There's activities there. There's obviously our faces plastered across the screen as well. Who doesn't want to see that in all its HD glory? I mean, honestly. It's all there at Legends Landing as well, which is a great place for you guys to chill out and hang out as well. Also, we must mention the FNCS outfits as well. Now, of course, limited for this weekend, check out the FNCS outfits. These are a great opportunity for you guys as well. Maybe kind of dress up with your pals, enjoy yourselves in Legends Landing, or playing the game as well. They're there to celebrate this amazing thing that is FNCS Finals. I know you, buddy. We all like to color coordinate and to kind of outfit coordinate from time to time. This is a great opportunity to do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely good one. Do not miss out on adding this to your locker. Everybody loves those kind of like limited edition stuff, and this is one of those opportunities to get your hands on an outfit that is limited edition because it'll only be around for this FNCS.
I really